Hey guys, we're live. This is Jeff here with eBay Addicts, and today my special guest is Josh Harry. How you doing? Introduce yourself in case you don't know who you
are. Having a little bit of trouble hearing you. I think you're breaking up, but
can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're just coming in and out a little bit.
All right, go ahead. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
All right, cool.
So yeah, my name is Josh. I go by Harry Tornado here on YouTube and Instagram. I'm a full-time reseller, full-time, mainly eBay. I don't really do a little bit of Mercari, a little bit of Amazon, but mostly eBay. And then I make YouTube videos about it, and that's my full-time job. I've been doing it for about a year and a half, maybe about full-time for just a year. August was a year full-time. But I've been making videos since last February, so like a year and a half on videos, and been selling on eBay since Halloween of 2018. So I got a little bit of experience under my belt, awesome. And I think I have more luck than experience or anything else. That's for sure.
More luck, man. I saw your Instagram, I think it was a week or so ago. Your whole front porch was full of packages. That was crazy. How many packages did you sell in one day?
So that was the Labor Day weekend, the holiday weekend. So it was 3 days, and I think we had it was 37 going out. But the funny story was that actually the weekend after that, it wasn't even a holiday weekend. I had 51 go out that Monday, and that was just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Whereas the weekend prior to that was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Oh, all right. So Harry Tornado, do you want to explain to people what when you first got started in reselling? How did you first get started, and what were you doing before you became a full-time reseller?
Yeah, so I was working as an insurance underwriter for a home insurance company here in Columbia, South Carolina, and I was under every impression that I was just going to do that job for the rest of my life. It was comfortable. It was a decent wage for my location. And I didn't really enjoy the job, but I thought it was secure, stable, and little did I know that there was one of the most least stable things you could ever have. One day I was being it was so funny because the day before I got laid off, I was in a training session, learning our new software for 6 hours. And they were like, you got to learn this, you got to learn that. And I spent all this time the day before learning. And then the very next day I was laid off. So it wasn't permanent at all. It totally took me by surprise. And I was selling eBay at the time. I think I had 200 active listings. My YouTube channel had just been monetized the week before that. And I just started selling full-time and doing full-time videos after that.
So is your wife working as well, or does she just help you with your eBay store?
She works. She's I don't know exactly what she does. She works for the county. She's like a scientist in the lab somewhere.
Oh, she's a scientist. Okay, I was just wondering because I'd seen your wife in your videos before, but I didn't know. I never asked. I was like, is she working, or is she running? Is she supporting you and reselling on eBay?
I definitely when I first started reselling, we had savings saved up, so it wasn't. We had that as a cushion to try to kind of try reselling. We weren't going to starve if it didn't work out or anything. So she definitely supported me for the first couple months. And now, obviously I've been super blessed with the YouTube channel and sales and everything like that. Those kind of go hand in hand in a lot of cases. So now it's to the point where she could quit her job if she wanted to. She's just not, I don't think she's ready to do eBay and YouTube full time yet.
All right, cool. And so what was your journey like from going from being a part-time reseller to a full-time? How did that go for you? Did your transition, did you start sourcing more days a week? Did you start listing more items? Let's say if you give someone some advice, if someone is a part-time reseller and they're wanting to go full-time, can you give someone maybe 2 or 3 tips that would help them?
For sure. I think that first of all, you need to live very frugally. If you're trying to make the transition from part-time to full-time, you need to be able to reinvest a lot of your profits. So I started making more sales because I was listing more things, I was sourcing more things, but I kept reinvesting most of the profits into more inventory, more shelving units, more bins, because obviously your business needs to grow. So I think there's going to be a big buffer period before you actually start making more money. So you just have to be prepared for that with a good amount of savings in the bank, or with a spouse that has an income that you can live off of while you build up the full-time eBay business. I want to say I started listing more, but I probably started sourcing more than anything, at building up my death pile, as we like to call it. But eventually you realize that doesn't actually make you extra money. And I got tired of spending all the money. So I knew I had to start listing the stuff. So.
Okay, and so where do you like to go sourcing it? I saw your video recently where you guys had some, what was it, like Amazon return items that you found? And so do you like to go sourcing, like what are some of the places you like to go sourcing at, and what are some of the items that you're looking for when you go sourcing? Are you specializing in certain type of merchandise, or just whatever you can get the best deal on?
I'll buy anything I can make a buck on, honestly. I like to call it the 3 Ps of sourcing. Haven't talked about in a while. So the first P is going to be your profit. You know, I'm not going to buy something. I think most new resellers get into this groove and like, they're like, okay, this is some profit. But you know, if you find a pair of shoes for $8 that sell for $15, that's not really enough profit to mess with, especially if they need to be cleaned and with new laces and all that stuff. So the first P is making sure there's enough profit there to be worth your time. The second P is going to be packing, like how much. Or actually, the second P is prep. Sorry. Second P is prep. How much time is it going to take to prep the item? Do you need, if it's a VCR, do you need to test it? Do you need to clean it? If it's clothing, do you need to get the stains out of it? You know, if you're going to have to spend 30 minutes to an hour of your time prepping this item, is the profit in the first P still going to be worth it for you to pick that item up? And then the third P is packing. If something has a good amount of profit for you and it doesn't take a lot of prep time, how much time is it going to take to pack that item? How much bubble wrap you're going to have to use? I've made that mistake a few times where I take a profitable item, but by the time I spend, you know, probably $10 to $15 worth of packing material on it, if you have to buy a special box, or if you have to use a ton of bubble wrap or a ton of packing paper, ton of tape, that can really eat into your profits. So anytime I'm buying something, I like to think of those 3 Ps to keep me, you know, buying things that are worth my time.
Okay, cool. I'm going to ask some questions that's in the chat. I just want to say hi to some of the guys that are watching. We're live, so if you have questions, drop it in the chat. I want to say hi to Nana. I want to say hi to SC Treasures, Joey, Wendy, Small Town Picker, Prison to Profit. Thank you guys for stopping by. Small Town Picker asked Josh, how does it feel to be famous in the resale community?
I don't know. It's still weird to think of myself as famous, I guess. I do get recognized a lot now, especially at that Amazon bin store I go to, Goodwill's, yards. We went yard selling, I guess about a month ago, the last yard sale video I made, and every yard sale we went to, I was recognized, like 6 yard sales. I'm like, all right, this at some point it's like a curse. Like this past weekend at the Amazon bin store, the doors just opened and I was looking at for everything. This lady came up and she was like, hey, Harry, it's nice to meet you. How do you feel about consigning things? I'm like, I'll talk to you in like 30 minutes, please. The doors just opened. I've been in line for 2 hours. Just let me stuff. So I love meeting people. I love it's weird. I guess I'm still getting used to it. And like when people ask me to sign stuff, like people buy stuff. This guy bought that Winnie the Pooh that I picked up last week that was dressed like a sheep. He bought it for his wife and she wanted me to sign it. And I'm like, I mean, I will, I guess, but I just think it's weird. So I didn't want to sign the actual bear. It ruined the value of it. So I just signed like a little tag and like tied the tag to its neck, like a little bow or something.
Okay.
So trying to wrap my head around, I guess.
Yeah. So when you're outsourcing, do you tell people like, yeah, I'm a reseller. Do you let them know what you do? Or, you said everywhere you go, you get recognized. So if you're out somewhere thrifting or at a yard sale or at a Goodwill or something, everybody pretty much knows who you are in your town now?
Not everybody. I don't get recognized every time. I think the Amazon store, I get recognized a lot there because I've made videos and like a lot of people are coming from far away to come to the store. So it's just, you get recognized more in environments with more resellers. Like I'm much more likely to be recognized at Goodwill or the Amazon store than I am at Walmart or something, But so as far as like telling people, I don't go out of my way to like tell somebody at a yard sale that I'm going to resell their stuff. But if they ask what I do with the items, I'm like, yeah, so I have a YouTube channel. This is my GoPro. I buy and sell stuff for a living. Getting stuff out of your hair. I might clean it up a little bit, sell it for a little bit of profit. And I do that 1,000 times a month. And then I make a decent income for myself. I think it depends on how you phrase it. If you're like, I'm going to take your stuff that I got for $1 and I'm going to sell it for $200. But I'm like, you're not going to say that. It's gonna make people feel weird, you know? If you tell people like, I'm going to take this old VCR you got, I'm going to clean it up, test it out, spend a few hours, making sure everything's good to go, list it. In 6 months, it might sell for $50. And then I got to ship it and deal with customer returns and customer complaints and all that stuff. It's all about how you word it.
Yeah, I try not to say, hey, I'm buying this item to resell them. But if they ask me questions, if I'm at a pawn shop and I'm buying items that are new in the shrink wrap and they're like, hey, are you going to resell these items? I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm just honest, because if you can look, people can see on your face if you're lying or telling the truth. So I just tell them, yeah, I'm just reselling it, but I tell them after I check out. I don't want them to like, hey, wait a minute, have second thoughts and not sell it to me. Somebody gets to some questions in the chat. Jennifer asks, I have a random question. When I take my package to the mail at the post office with a label from eBay, they scan it. What am I supposed to do to enter the info at all? Update info. I'm not exactly sure what is meant by that.
We scan it. Enter info to update info. No. So if you print a label from eBay and you take your package to the post office and they scan it, that will be accepted. You don't have to do anything else. You don't. It automatically, once they scan it, it automatically updates on eBay as the buyer, the USPS is in possession of the item. If you drop your package off without getting it scanned, well, you still can't do anything. Like, that's why I take all my packages to the post office every day and I wait in line and make sure I see them scan it, because I have too many issues where I drop stuff off and it's not scanned in for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that does happen. They've been behind lately, especially going into Q4. Somebody in the chat, I'm trying to catch up with the with the questions here. I missed one. Someone asked a question about how do you handle doing taxes from reselling and eBay sales?
It's just like any other business. You just keep up with your profits. You can use a bookkeeping software. I think if you're a full-time seller, like you're actually making a pretty significant income, you probably need to get an accountant to like help you. I don't really know any true full-time sellers that don't have an accountant that does their taxes and even does bookkeeping. Like Rally Roots, I know they have a bookkeeper that keeps track of everything for them. It's just one less thing to deal with. Honestly, you really want a professional helping you in that. But as far as taxes, it's just like any other business. You just keep track of your actual profits and you pay taxes on it.
Yeah, Nana asked, how is one of my favorite fur babies, Moose?
Mo's is good. He's good. We had some guys at the house today trying to fix our kitchen floor finally, and he was very curious all day. He really wanted to go lick them, but I wouldn't let him, and he got mad at me.
That's funny. Jennifer says, you help me so much with that sheet of goals. Love it. Thank you. Hey, you're welcome, guys. Just every year, every 6 months, you got to give yourself a list of goals of new projects that you do. And then as you got to, reset it and give yourself new goals to stretch for, so you're welcome. I'm trying to make sure I catch anything else. If you guys have any other questions, you can drop them in the chat, and I will ask our guests. So, Harry Tornado, how has your adjustment been since you were working as a full-time, insurance adjuster, basically an underwriter, from now doing a lot of work from home? Listing items, filming YouTube videos. I mean, it's a little bit of an adjustment going from punching a time clock to kind of being your own boss. Can you talk a little bit about that? And if gives somebody some tips, if they're thinking like, man, this is going to be great, I can't wait to put my 2 weeks notice in and quit my job and work from home. Could you give somebody some advice?
Yeah, I think a lot of people like to fantasize about the idea of quitting their job and working for themselves, but you have to realize that some people are just wired to be an employee no matter what. Like, if they want to try to be an entrepreneur, they're probably going to fail, because if you have that employee mindset, it's just better for you to be an employee. Not everybody can own their own business. Before you quit your job, you need to have, I would say, a lot of money saved up just in case, because eBay, I think a lot of people on YouTube make it look a lot easier than it actually is. It's not that easy. It's a ton of work. I'm working more hours and harder now than I ever have in my entire life. Granted, I'm happier than I've ever been, and I am making more money than I've ever made. But it is a lot of work. I talked about it on my Instagram last week. I would have a day where last Friday, I woke up like 6 o'clock. I edited my video that was supposed to be out that day a little bit. I went and waited in line 2 hours at the Amazon store. I was filming there the whole time. I got those clips. I came home, started listing some Amazon stuff. I finished editing that video that was supposed to post that night. While that was waiting for the premiere, I started editing the video that was going to be for the next day. Then I started listing more stuff after that for that night. And I'm just constantly working, but I also enjoy what I do. So it doesn't really feel like work. My old job, it was Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And I didn't start thinking about it until 7:30 when I had to leave the house to go. And I stopped thinking about it, honestly, about 4 o'clock every day. I just kind of zoned out and I'm like, all right, I just got to get out of here. So it was,
yeah.
I mean, working for yourself is awesome, but it's not easy. It's more enjoyable, but it's not easier.
Yeah. Well, when you're out there and you're working to list items, they don't have to like to
you're breaking up. You're breaking up a little bit. I can't really hear you.
Oh, hear me now? Are you there?
No, it's still really, really crackly. I can't understand what you're saying.
Hey, can you hear me? Hello, Josh.
It's coming in and
Tornado,
out.
can you guys hear me in the chat? Can you hear me? Go ahead. I'm gonna try to ask some questions in the chat.
Joey Bada Bing 22 says, I have a question.
Someone
Josh, you got Joey Bada Bing says, Josh, how did you become the hairiest tornado? Joey, thank you for the question. I'm assuming that is not a real question. I became that way because that's the way God made me, the hairiest tornado of all. I'll go through and answer some questions that I see here. Bearded Veteran, make sure to destroy that like button, everybody. Yes. That's for sure. 24 people watching, only 13 thumbs ups. Make sure we can like this video, support our friend eBay Addicts on here. Let's see.
Yeah, thanks. This right here, Ron, he says I'm 14 years old and reselling on eBay. I was wondering if y'all have any advice for me. I have about 100 listings as of now. Thank you guys for the knowledge. Much appreciated.
Let's see. Yeah, 14 already selling on eBay. That's awesome. You definitely have I would consider myself a natural entrepreneur, but even at 13, 14 years old, I was not really thinking about money yet. So just the fact that you're already on this hustle is a good sign for you in the future. I would say don't get too excited. I see a lot of younger people that 13 and 14, they get into eBay and they make a little bit of money and then they want to just move up from there. They see all these videos of these guys drop shipping and making $10,000 a month. They want to do that. And then they want to get a Robinhood account, even though they're not old enough for it yet. And then they, borrow money from their brother or something to invest in the stock market because they think they've found the way to make money. And it gets really dangerous when you're so excited. So just stay calm. You got plenty of time to make money. Most people don't start making money at all until they're like 30, so just calm down. Sell stuff on eBay, make a little bit of money. I think you can definitely make more on eBay just selling part-time than you would at like a part-time job at a fast food joint or something. So don't get too excited.
If you're 14 years old, you're living with your parents still, you don't have a ton of bills or expenses. So you don't have to rush it, just enjoy it. If you're out at a thrift store and you find a pair of shoes or a hat, let's say you find a hat for $1 and it sells for $15-20, you can grab it. But just try to go out and maybe on the weekends, or if you have some free time, you can look for some items that you can resell. Maybe you can find some stuff laying around the house. Maybe you have some old DVDs or CDs or video games or something laying around the house that you're not using anymore. And you could just list it and try to sell it. But having 100 listings is great. Maybe eventually down the line, you might want to list more items if you want to be able to make more sales. Somebody in the chat says, have you ever been dumpster diving? I don't know. I'm assuming she's asking you.
And not really. I mean, occasionally I'll get, like, if I ride by a dumpster and there's a bunch of boxes in there that are clean, I'll grab those. But I've never been dumpster diving for actual items.
Yeah, I haven't been dumpster diving either. Occasionally, sometimes I'll look on Craigslist. And if you guys look under the free section on Craigslist and you'll look under the free section, sometimes they have stuff that's left over from yard sales or estate sales that they couldn't sell and they wanted to get rid of. And they'll just set it out to the curb for free. So if you look on there, go in especially on a Sunday afternoon, look under the free section on Craigslist, and all this stuff that's left over from yard sales they couldn't sell, they'll put it out on the street curb and they'll post an address, and you can just swing by there and get stuff for free on the street curb, list it and post it on eBay, and you're making, I mean, the margins on stuff that you get for free, that's well above 70 or 100% margins, because you got no money tied up in the merchandise. So I like that much more than me. I'm a big guy. I'm not going to take my big self and climb in and out of a dumpster. It's not happening. It's not gonna happen. So, someone says, I missed it. It says, great on the teaser video. What item have you made less the profit?
You're breaking up a little bit, but I think you were talking about Prison to Profit. It says, what items have you purchased for resale that you made the less profit? I like that question because everybody asked me what like my most profitable flip was. And that answer would be some dumbbells. At the start of quarantine, I got a pair of dumbbells. I drove all the way to North Carolina to pick those up, spent $600 on them, and they sold for like $1,100 plus shipping. So that was my most profitable item, the most profitable single item. Also got a bunch of hairspray at Goodwill, 92 cents per can. I got 150 cans, and it took about 6 months to sell. And after everything was said and done, I made just over $1,000 in actual profit from those. And then I had a video game buyout. I spent $1,000 buying just a bunch of video game stuff from this guy. I still have it was probably over 500 items, like with games and everything included. And I have like 10 items left. And so far I've made a profit of like $3,200 on it. So that was my best. I guess that was my best flip, 1,000 and 3,200 in actual profit. So it's 4,200 in sales. So yeah, as far as my
Harry Tornado, can you talk?
What was that?
Go ahead.
As far as
go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Okay. My less profit, but I guess the item that I lost money on, it was the first VCR I ever sold. I bought it for like $6. It was like the 10th thing I listed on eBay. I didn't know what I was doing, so I listed it for $49 free shipping, and it sold to a buyer in Hawaii, and it costs, I think I didn't even know about FedEx at the time, so I shipped it priority, and it was like $47.50 to ship it. So after fees and the cost of goods, I ended up losing like 10 or 12 bucks or so.
Tornado, curious, can you talk a bit about your side? Can you tell it that you bought Will?
I can't hear what you're saying, man. I'm sorry.
Talk a little. You got the pallets of merchandise you got at the Goodwill.
Pallets. Okay. Yeah. So we went to Goodwill. Just my local Goodwills were selling mystery pallets. Just trying to move out some inventory. They had more inventory than they could handle. And they were just putting everything in boxes, sealing it up, and they're selling it for $50. You could, if you opened it at the store and left the box and the pallet there, they give you $10 back. So I did that for the first 3 pallets, filmed that video. That video's got like 130,000 views or something close to that. It was really, really good stuff. And then I just kept going from there. It was fun digging through the pallets, and the videos were doing really well. So I think all in all, we got like 28 pallets, and we still have 6 left that we haven't opened. Excuse me. 6 left that we haven't opened yet. Yeah, pallets were fun. I'm glad they're a lot of work. I mean, they're profitable, and the videos are fun to do and easy to edit. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
So when you got those pallets, you in the store your budget.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you're saying, man.
When you went to go pick up these pallets from you had to put storage. You had to store them in a storage unit.
Yeah. We so yeah, I bought like 12 at one time, and obviously I can't put those in the driveway. So we got a little storage unit. My friend has a warehouse that he rents out, and he had some storage units on the side of the warehouse that kind of were included in his lease, but he wasn't using them, and he let me use them for that. So it was really nice of him. And yeah, we've been using 2 of those for a couple months now, and we should have everything out of there our yard sale that we're going to do with the leftover pallet stuff is going to be October 3rd. And then after that, I'll probably clear out those units and then just put everything else back in our garage out here.
Hey, Josh, I got a question. Are you going to do any like reseller meetups nearby in South Carolina? You got like 50,000 subscribers. I think that would be fun to do. Have like reseller meetup.
We have a reseller meetup every Friday morning at 5 a.m. at Dream Deals in West Columbia, South Carolina. If you ever want to meet me, you just come to Dream Deals on Friday morning and I'll be there.
All right, you'll be there 5 o'clock in the morning. So what kind of merchandise have you been reselling lately?
A little bit of everything, man. I've been doing a lot of stuff at the Amazon store, a lot of like water filters, printer cartridges, just random electronics. I sold a Casio keyboard today. It was actually a fun story about that because I went to Goodwill, one of the Goodwills I go to all the time. I went in the morning at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, right when they were opening, putting out the new stuff, and they didn't really have anything. And then that afternoon, about 3 o'clock, I went back to that same Goodwill, and I was like, it's on my way home. Might as well just stop and see what they have. And I found that Casio keyboard. It was $4.94. It didn't have a power cord, but the battery compartment was really clean. So I took it home, put some fresh batteries in there, and it worked like a charm. I got it listed about 2 weeks ago, and it sold today for $149 free shipping. It's pretty small. It's not like a big piano. It's like maybe 18 inches long, so it's probably going to cost $10-12 to ship. So usually going to the same thrift store in the same day is not going to be very fruitful for you. But in that situation, just stopping by that Goodwill on the way home, taking an extra 10 minutes out of my day, made me an extra, $125 after fees, so you never know when it's going to be worth it.
Awesome. So Harry Tornado, can you talk a little bit about your mystery boxes that you've been selling? Do you currently have any for sale right now? And how has that been going for you?
I don't have anything for sale right now. I was just trying to move out some of my smaller inventory and help other people out a little bit. I was just filling up like medium flat rate boxes or large flat rate boxes with just smaller items that were profitable. And it's just tough. It's tough doing a lot of those because you have to have small profitable items. Like I could fill a box with small items, but if they're all $5 items, that's not a very good mystery box. So I would have to get small and profitable items that I didn't want to list myself. And usually those are the ones that I enjoy listing the most. So I don't really do a lot of those. I do maybe one every couple weeks or so. It's tough because I had my friend Chloe, she lives in like California, and she asked me for a mystery box of shoes. But by the time she's like, you can just fill up a large flat rate box with shoes. I'm like, you can only fit maybe 2 or 3 pairs in a flat rate box. There's not much profit to be left on that. It's tough finding the balance between the small and profitable items. I like selling mystery boxes though. It's fun. It's fun to move out inventory in bulk and help other resellers at the same time.
You talk a little bit about your storage after you list your items, where you go about storing all your items till they sell. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just have the bin system. Like pretty much everybody that I know has the same system. Just bins on metal shelves with letters on them, and I just use the custom SKU feature in eBay to sort everything. I was able to say that I've never lost an item until like 2 weeks ago. In the last 2 weeks, I lost 2 items. So one was like a car manual that sold for $15, and I had like 10 of them, and I could not find it. It wasn't in the bin that it was supposed to be in. I checked all my other bins. I looked for it for like an hour, and I couldn't find it. So I canceled the order. I said the reason for cancellation, I put buyer change mine because that won't ding your eBay account. I sent the buyer a message. I'm like, hey man, I'm so sorry. I think I might have listed this twice on accident and it already sold. I gave you a full refund. I'll give you 25% off anything else in my store as, a thank you for your understanding. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. I totally understand. No problem. And then this past week I sold it was like a lunchbox that had like an app with it, like a smart lunchbox. There's smart everything nowadays. But it sold for like $20 free shipping. I think I paid like $2 for it at the Amazon store. So not a big sale. And what threw me off is it sold on like Monday morning, and I packed it up because I was expecting the buyer to pay, and it got into my IKEA bag, and I took it to the post office, but the buyer never paid, so I didn't have a label. So at the post office, I had this box. I was like, oh, I need to take that back home. And I put it back in my truck and left it there. Like, I know I put it in my truck. And then when it actually sold the next day, it actually paid for, I went to go get it out of the truck and it wasn't there. And it was a pretty big box. I mean, it was a 10 by 8 by 6 box. So I don't know if somebody stole it or it fell out somewhere. I don't know. So I canceled it, said buyer changed mine, apologized, offered them 25% off anything else. And they never responded. So hope they're not mad at me.
All right. Somebody in the chat, they said, how is your homemade shelving units holding up? Your shoe shelving units.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they definitely got some bow to them, but not any more than they had originally. You know, these weren't meant to be shelves that were going to last forever. They're just, I think I spent like $40 and 2x4s and cedar fence pickets. I just need something to hold shoes, and that's what they're doing. I think I made them like, I don't know, 8 or 10 months ago, and they still look exactly the same. So obviously, I used to do woodworking as like a part-time gig. You know, made a little bit of money with that. So I know how to build a quality shelf. I just didn't want to. I didn't think it needed to be a high quality shelf. Because honestly, I have a lot of shoes listed now, and I have like probably 40 more that I need to get listed soon. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit all those on the shelf. So I'm probably going to need to go into like a Renzi situation. They use like the shoe shelves, and like I think getting more of those versus one big one will be a better move.
Yeah, we just had Renzi on the show yesterday. They're awesome guests. We talked with them yesterday for like an hour. So can you talk a little bit about your YouTube channel and how your journey from your YouTube channel? Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, how does somebody go from right now, if they want to start a YouTube channel, how do they go from 0 subscribers to 50,000? How do we do that, Josh?
Yeah. So when I started my channel, I wasn't even reselling yet. I had wanted to start a YouTube channel ever since I was in high school. That was like the cool thing, you know, like, oh, YouTuber, man, that all YouTubers are cool. But right. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know anything about it. So when I started my channel, I was just making random videos. I think I was up to like 70 subscribers just from like begging friends and family to subscribe. And then I realized, like, if I actually want to build an audience and like make this something real, I need to pick a niche, whatever you want to call it, stick to it and be consistent. And that's when I started making reselling videos in February of 2019. And starting from there, I just started finding other channels, other reseller channels in the reselling community. I started jumping on their live streams and commenting and trying to become part of the community. I did my first collaboration was with Lot of Josh. Lot of Josh was the first reseller channel that reached out to me. He commented on my 100 subscriber celebration video. And then we met. We ended up doing a whole live show together that went on for like a couple months. He's a great guy. I wish him well in his new endeavors. But yeah, I just kept finding other small channels and started commenting on their videos, becoming part of the community, putting my name out there. When Rally Roots were doing their live videos every Monday night, their live videos went really fast, and I was like, okay, this is an opportunity for me because I'd studied so much about eBay and YouTube, and I felt like I knew a lot of these questions that people were asking that they were kind of skipping over just because they couldn't answer everything. So I would go in the Rally Roots chat every Monday night, and any questions that they skipped over, I would answer in the chat. And whoever asked the question would be like, oh, thank you so much. I'm like, you're welcome. Go subscribe to my channel. And I did that for probably 6 months, just going into live chats of these bigger channels like Lindy Glenn, Garage Flips, like when they did their This Week in Reselling morning show or whatever. I was always in there, you know, while I was at work, you know, answering questions, putting my name out there. And I probably got it took me about 9 months of that to hit 1,000 subscribers, just putting in a ton of work, putting my name out there, trying to offer value. And something else to help me hit 1,000 subscribers, I was reaching out to these big guys like Cincinnati Picker. I offered to make him his channel intro, like the one that has the little hat on the C and the music and all that stuff. I made that for him. And in return, he gave me a shout out. And I think that shout out gave me like 300 new subscribers. I did for Hustle at Home Mom, I did her end screen. She gave me a shout out, and that got me like another 300 subscribers. I did a little channel intro for Rally Roots that they used in a couple videos. They gave me a shout out on Instagram for that, and that got me a couple followers on there. And I think that's why it let me grow more quickly than other channels, because I don't know. I don't like you should never just ask for shout outs. I get emails and DMs on Instagram all the time, like just people begging for shout outs. I'm like, that's not the way to do it, man. You've got to, there's no incentive for me to do that unless I'm just a nice person, but I can't do it for everybody because then all my videos would just be shout out, go follow this person, this person, this person. You have to be selective. If you shout out everybody, nobody is going to, I guess it's just me now. If you shout out everybody, nobody's going to start following the people that you shout out because it's just annoying at that point.
Second, let me.
I think you're back. Anyway, so I got my first 1,000 subscribers like that, just trading. Yeah, so I got my first 1,000 subscribers like that.
Give me a second.
I don't think he can hear me.
Oh, don't know what happened to him.
I'm here.
Oh, I think he's coming back. He's back.
I'm here.
Sorry, we lost you for a second. Yeah, he's back. So go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. So yeah, I agree with you. I can't just sit here for and give people shout-outs. I think you got patient. It happens over time. Like I said, I think it took me, 0 to 1,000 subscribers. It just takes time. You just have to keep at it, keep trying to add value. So, who are your favorite YouTubers that you like to watch? If you're in the background, who are your favorite YouTubers to watch, listen to, working or listen to items?
Yeah, your connection's really bad, man. I can barely understand you. But some of my favorite YouTubers to watch, Cincinnati Picker. He's really, really good. I think he's just like a down home guy, really authentic, which is why I think his channel is growing as fast as it is. Rally Roots are super helpful. They basically taught me everything I know about reselling. They're awesome people for sure. I like Hustle at Home Mom. She makes a lot of I guess beginner eBay videos, like helpful tips and tricks, but I just really like her personality. I watch all of her videos. We're really good friends. And Daily Refinement. Chris over at Daily Refinement. I don't watch him a ton now. But if you're a new eBay seller and you want to learn, if you want to learn stuff about eBay that nobody else is talking about, you need to watch Chris's channel. Again, it's Daily Refinement. And he changes his business strategy a little bit, depending on what's working at the time. But for the most part, he's giving out some very, very valuable information that should at least help you widen your horizons and think about eBay as less than a hobby and more like an actual business. So I really enjoy his channel.
All right, Josh, what is your plans for ramping up for the fourth quarter coming up between now and Christmas?
I'm filling my store with a lot of new inbox items that I'm getting at the Amazon store or doing retail arbitrage. I think new inbox items are going to sell really well this year. I don't think a lot of people are going to go to the mall and go out to Best Buy and wait in lines and crowds. And I think online shopping, this is going to be the biggest year for online shopping in our history. And some people might buy used stuff for Christmas gifts and holiday gifts, whatever. But I think for the most part, people are going to want new inbox items. So that's what I'm looking for right now. That's what I'm listing right now. And I'm just trying to build that up. Sales are going very well for me, which is a blessing, but it's also kind of a curse because I would love to be able to get to 1,000 or 1,500 active listings going into the Christmas holiday season to have a lot of selection for people to buy from. But nowadays I'm listing, somebody in the chat asked earlier, how many items per week do I list? Right now, I'm listing about 80 to 100 items a week with the help of, I have a lady who helps me list one day a week. And that one day we usually do 50 just in that day or more. But when I list that much stuff, they're just selling. I guess my prices are too low or people are just too nice and just, viewers are buying stuff. I don't know. But it's good because we're making a lot of sales, but it's tough to get that if I want to get to 1,000 active listings, I'd probably have to list 30 things a day, every single day for 3 weeks to hit that.
Yeah, I saw your video a while back. You said you made $40,000 a year working as a reseller. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, I'm very open with my income. I think the reason a lot of people in our culture have money issues, money issues is the number one cause of divorce. A lot of people get in trouble with money, and by the time they open up and talk to somebody about it, it's too late. So I want to try to help get out of that funk. It's okay to talk about money. We all grew up you can't talk about how much money you make. That's weird and rude. I think it's cool. I think it's cool to be transparent and talk about it. There's no shame. When there was a time in my life when I was working as a Chinese delivery driver, and I was making like $30,000 a year, and I thought I was rich, man. My rent was like $300 a month because I was living with two other guys.
Yeah.
And, $30,000 a year when you're a single guy living with two other guys and no other bills, that's a lot of money. And I was like, I can just do this forever, man, but it's not embarrassing. We all grow and adapt. So my old job, I was making $42,000 a year before taxes and benefits and all that stuff. I was bringing home about $1,100 every 2 weeks from my insurance job. And in the last 48 hours between YouTube and eBay, I've made about $1,300. So it's going pretty well for me now. And I don't talk about my income to be like braggy at all. I want to be like a source of motivation for people, like it's scary to quit your job. It's scary to try this full time, but it worked for me. Here's proof. I'll show you my bookkeeping software to show you exactly how much profit I make, No,
I don't think that you're coming from a point or an angle where you're trying to brag and say, oh, look at me, I made this much money. I think you're just doing it, just saying, hey guys, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. And if I can help you out or give you guys some advice or pointers along the way, I'll be more than glad to do so. That's why I brought it up. I'm not thinking it like you're bragging or boasting because I don't get that vibe from you. So somebody in the chat, they just asked, they said, what is the best, cheapest way to ship large, heavy items?
There's a website called UShip. It's kind of like, think of it like Uber sort of, but for shipping items. So what you would do, you'd log on to UShip, you'd start an account and set up your payment and everything like that. And you would post what you needed shipped. You'd post the barber chair. You'd probably have to put it on a pallet or something. And you post it and say, I need to ship this from South Carolina to Tennessee or Texas, wherever you want to go. And then people would bid on that. But instead of bidding in higher increments, they would bid in lower increments. So, somebody might say, okay, I'll do it for $500. And then you got like a week-long auction. And then by the end of the week, somebody might say, well, I've already got a shipment going from South Carolina to Tennessee. I can just throw that barber chair on the truck and I'll do it for $100. And that way you ship it. That's how you get the very best price. There's people that do this full time. There used to be a TV show about it called like Shipping Wars or something, where people just full time just move stuff across the country for people. So I think for a big chair, like a big item like a barber chair, the website UShip would probably be your best best way to go about that.
All right, Josh, can you give me some, before we let you go, can you give us maybe your 3 tips for reselling? Like, how many items should someone list? What kind of margin should they be looking for? What type of items? Do you have any certain BOLO items that you're looking, like some people look for like VCR, DVD combos? Like, are there certain items that you're specifically looking for? Like, what kind of advice could you give somebody? 3 tips that you have for reselling? Because this is like your full-time job now.
Yeah. So one thing I did with reselling is that I knew I needed to, the knowledge that you have as a reseller, like your knowledge on valuable items is what's going to set you apart from other resellers. Everybody talks about how competitive reselling is, and it's true. It's very competitive. It's only going to get worse because it's a very cool business to get into. It's very cheap. The barrier to entry is very low. So obviously there's going to be more competition, but everybody's looking for combo units. Everybody's looking for Nintendo 64s. Everybody's looking for that stuff. You have to go out and do your research and learn those categories of items that other people don't know. What I did for a couple months is I just go into eBay and type in just a random, like guitar, type in guitar. And then I'd search for the search results to come out. I'd do only sold listings. And then I would sort by only used items. And then I'd sort highest to lowest. So then I found out that the highest, like the best brands, the used guitars that were selling for the most money were things like Martin and Taylor and, going down a list, then you get into like Yamaha and all that stuff. So that if you ever find a guitar at a thrift store, what brands to look for. And you can do that with every item. You can do that with men's shoes. You can do that with men's shirts. You can do that with video games. You can do that with anything. You just search it, show only solds, filter results to show highest to lowest. I did it on a live stream one time with like waffle makers. I just typed in waffle makers, showed only solds, used items, filter highest to lowest. And I found out that Waring, like WARING, is like the best brand of waffle maker. It sells like the restaurant style one sell for like $300 or $400. So if I'm ever at a restaurant, liquidation sale and they've got a waffle maker back there for $50, yeah, I'll buy it because it sells for $300 on eBay. but I wouldn't have known that if I wouldn't have put in the time to do that work. And again, you can do that with every single category of item. You can do that with literally, you name it. Just search it on eBay, search sold results, show only used items. If you want to, used items are what you're going to mostly find out in the wild. So that's why I do used. And then filter highest to lowest. And then that way you're going to see what brands to look out for. You're going to see what items in general to be on the lookout for. And if you do that every night, if you search one item every night for a month, you just learn 30 categories of items and like the top 2 or 3 brands in each of those categories. Write it down, study it, remember it when you go to yard sale or state sale or thrift store or anything like that.
All right, Harry Tornado, can you give me, I know you guys said you got to go, we have dinner. So can you give us your final thoughts on things?
Final thoughts. Just don't get too excited. Reselling is very a very exciting business. A lot of people get into it and start buying and buying and buying because they find deals. Just make sure you're listing as you buy. Make sure you're keeping track of everything, keeping track of your inventory, keeping track of your profits for taxes. Make sure you pay your taxes. Just operate your business honestly with integrity and keep it slow. You can always make money later on. So just don't get in over your head too quickly.
Right. Thanks. Yeah. My thing is, guys, you want to reinvest your money. When you start making sales, you got to reinvest the money back into buying more merchandise for your store as well. It's like if you go into Walmart and the shelves are all empty, they don't have nothing on the shelves for you to buy. You're not going to make any sales because your items that you have listed is going to go down. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for hanging out in the chat. I want to thank Harry Tornado for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys. You all have a great night. I'll see you later. Have a good weekend. All right. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.